Greetings, everyone. I'm a little bit late to my live because I was meditating and I lost track of time. Um, we've already got people asking to be guests. So I'm going to have some other dreaming women on with me. I've invited a couple of people and hopefully they'll come join me. And, um, we'll see who's here. I just did a live on YouTube and I did a live earlier with Gia and Spirituality with Sam, and then I was spending time with my family, and then I did a live on YouTube, and now I did a quick meditation, and now I'm doing a live here. And I really wish I had more time to meditate because I wanted to see if I could get some questions answered, but instead I just kind of got some healing. And so, did you read my DM? No, you haven't read DMs today. I feel like I read one or two this morning, but I haven't. Um, it's kind of been hectic already, hasn't it? I mean, it's a crazy day, and so I've been, trying to come on live as much as possible to just, be here for people and maybe have some conversations. I'm not going to invite any people up that I don't know just because, I know a lot of people are having strong feelings today and some people might be angry. And so I'm just going to invite people up whose names I recognize. I hope that's okay. Um, and I don't know if my mods are here. I had two great mods over on YouTube, and one of them was from here, a mod from TikTok who went to YouTube and modded for me, which was awesome. Um, and oh God, the same person keeps trying to co-host. I don't want to co-host. Whoever that is, I don't know you. Um, I still have hope. Yes, I do. Wow, this same person. Maybe one of my mods can stop that. It's someone whose name is in Arabic, and they're just constantly inviting to co-host like every few seconds. So if anyone can do anything about that, please do. It's distracting. Um, yeah, so I just wanted to come in here and talk about. Uh-oh, Lisa went on the wrong YouTube. She went on YouTube instead of. Lisa went on the wrong YouTube. She went on YouTube instead of. Lisa went on the wrong YouTube. She went on YouTube instead of. Lisa went on the wrong YouTube. She went on YouTube instead of TikTok because I was. Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. Oh, Iris is here. Um, I invited Intuition Influencer to join me, and she was over on YouTube because I just did a live over there. Um, so yeah, I wanted to just talk about what happened and hear how you all are feeling about it and what you're picking up. So I've been on two lives already, and the first live was with Spirituality with Sam and Gia, and oh, here she is. Here's Intuition Influencer coming. And I have invited everyone to join me, but some people are busy. Um, oh, is that Elisa? Are you there?
Yes, never too busy, just chewing my ice. Hello.
Yeah, I know I confused you because I was just on YouTube doing a live.
I was watching you,
But
but not watching you. I was like, oh, is this live? Yeah.
oh, was it a replay?
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out how to add people over there, and I still haven't figured it out. But yeah, so I do want to bring let's see who else is here, but um, maybe someone else will come up later. But I'm glad to have you here.
Yeah, I'm happy to
Um,
be here.
you and I have been talking.
Mhm.
I just heard your voicemail.
Yes.
Um, yeah, crazy day, right?
It is a crazy day, but you can see we're still here. We're still smiling, but it's more than that. Like the more the time goes by, just like 10 weeks ago, the more time that passes, the more I just realize the gifts because I know that everything is happening for highest and greatest good. We know what we are here for. We know where we are going. And so I am not daunted at all. I've simply become more clear in the past 6 hours. How about you?
I've definitely gotten clearer as the day has progressed. This morning I woke up, I really didn't sleep hardly at all, but I felt just so happy and I was dancing and singing. And my sister said to me later, you were so happy and confident, but I was really not, I was feeling anxious. And she ended up being right. But I was feeling so happy. And then when I got the news, I just had this feeling of, no, that doesn't make sense. That's not possible. Just utter disbelief and then confusion. And, but I do continue to feel very calm. I don't feel panicked. I don't feel like he's really going to be in office. And I know I sound delusional. I know I'm in the Delulu Club. It's like Delulu forever.
Yeah, it's really not you. Maybe we should just appropriate that, but I know we're not. And this is one of the things that we do as intuitives, as psychics, right? We check in regularly. We know, we ask about our bias. We know the difference. And can I just say, I just posted something that was very important. And it's, listen, know the difference between what's coming from your fear and what's coming from your gut. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
so important. And so I can feel how I feel, you can feel how you feel, but we all need to start making those decisions from our gut and our heart. I always like to say the 40-40-20 split, right? 20 brain, 40 heart, 40 gut. And fear is rampant today for obvious reasons. And I just want to, allow people to feel how they feel. And if you feel fear, great. Just identify it as such, right? Like we need to say this is coming from a place of fear.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about that in my earlier live. I feel like I've been on live all day, so I'm gonna let you talk more because I feel like I've talked a lot.
I got so much
But
to say. Mhm.
what I've been doing today is reflecting a lot and talking a lot on these lives about, the past messages I got and what today might mean given all of the things that my guides have shared with me. Um, and so, one thing I want to say is I was never shown today in one of my visions. Today wasn't actually one of my visions. And so, a lot of people were talking specifically about this day. And I wasn't shown this day, but I was repeatedly shown the day that Lotus takes the oath. And that's just been so clear to me. And it didn't make sense that they could both do it, right? So
Yeah.
I think my conclusion was, well, we know that that other day is happening, so this day obviously can't happen. Um, so I am a little confused by it,
Mhm.
and um, especially all the breadcrumbs, as one of the people in the chat mentioned, all of the evidence, also all of the things that my guides told me that turned out to be true.
Mhm.
So many things. Why would this thing be the one thing that was wrong? Right? The happy ending.
Yeah. And can we take a moment because, we've all been, and I see even in the comments here, the red hats are out to play. And my ego is so low, go for it. Say what you want. Go just, but I've told people like just block me, like move on, stop bookmarking me and coming back. But I do want to take a moment to say, listen, we have all been called Delulu for the past 10 weeks for saying that there was shenanigans with the contest. The guy who
We're
once
totally vindicated,
yeah,
right?
like
He
like
admitted it.
totally told us that, validated us. Who knew we would be validated by the man himself?
Oh,
the
I did. I actually
messenger.
said it in a
Oh, you
post.
did. That's right. You did. Of course you did. So again, we're not up here going like, do we go up with a big banner and go, I told you so? We don't say that. So I just want to take a moment to say that yes, just about everything else. And by the way, did I not say, how many times have I said, I don't see the hand on Bible? And I think that's really interesting.
That
Everything
was
we say is
you.
going to make us
That
seem
was you. I
good.
was trying to remember
Yeah,
who said
yeah,
that
yeah,
today. All my people in my chat were saying he did
yeah.
not put his hand in the Bible. I'm like, I know someone said that. I've heard that said.
Did.
It was
And
you.
and higher self is talking, and it's funny, they're having some fun with me, but I don't think it's just semantics. And again, everything I say will be like, I'm going to have to keep stopping myself because I could go in 20 different very legitimate directions and go, oh, okay, blue lulu delulu. And by the way, I never did see Lotus Queen specifically. I did the opposite of you and was like process of elimination. That makes sense. Now I did see that and get that there that she was going to provide leadership in 2025. So I thought, and in my mind, and maybe it was my mind, I was thinking, well, we are blowing up old, systems and starting new. And so maybe there is a different, and I did a whole post on this because I asked ChatGPT, like, what are some alternatives to this two-party system that we have, right? And I mean, in Canada, we have a three-party system that's not much better, but what are some alternatives? And ChatGPT gave me some great ideas. So I have been open, remaining open and unattached to exactly what it looks like. But while I'm on that topic, I'm going to say that I really had a lesson today, and I'm healing so much. This is so great. Another lesson in being attached to outcomes. Because until about 10 days ago, I had released attachment to any outcome. And then the human side of me took over, and I foolishly thought, well, for my vision, and my vision is something career related, nothing to do with this, but for my vision to come true, this has to happen. So right away, my ego attached itself to an outcome, and that was
Well, let
my.
me stop you for a second. Apparently, there's a problem with not enough mods.
Oh shoot.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
so Iris said she needs other mods. It's. I guess she's
Alicia
dealing with
said we can
a
mod.
lot of nonsense. So
Yeah.
do we have another Av in here? Mod
Yeah. Alicia.
Evie, are you available? I did post it that I was going to go live at 3 Evie a few hours ago, but I guess you didn't see it. Are you available? Um, and okay, I'm trying to find.
Yeah.
Um,
I love what I'm seeing. I'm remaining grounded and trapped in. Tapped in. We are. Oh, that was Freudian. We remain trapped in. Tapped in. Um,
yeah, I'm trying to see if Evie is available.
you said yes, and G Money said mod me, please. Evie is here.
Okay, so
Um,
I think we have two mods. Um, G Money. I don't think I know G Money, but I could make them a mod. Iris, do we have
and Amaya Brooke, I can mod too. So
health and happiness? Okay, hold on. I didn't bring my glasses. Here they are. Okay. Health and happiness. I'm going to add you. So we should have, I think, three mods at this point. Um, the purpose of mods is to make sure that people don't start engaging in, really ugly behavior, like insulting and being disruptive or bringing, that kind of thing. And I generally don't see a lot of that in my lives, but today's a different day. We've gotten some really bad news today. Some people might be understandably very upset. Some people like to express their upset by going online and directing their anger at certain creators.
mhm.
Um,
Yes,
so I don't know if that's what's happening, but
that fear
that's what
thing, right?
they're there to keep the safe space, and try to keep the vibe high.
Yeah.
So if you don't agree with me and you think that you know you know intuition influencer and I are not making sense, then you don't have to listen to us. You can listen to someone who makes more sense. We're here for the people who believe in intuition, who've been following the dreaming people, dreaming women, and who are wanting to hear from us today.
Yes.
So I wanted to check in with people to share some of what we're still getting, um, how we're processing it, and then to hear from you. I mean, I read the comments because I do want to hear how everybody's doing.
Mhm.
Um, Now, I have been going live on YouTube. There are some concerns about the app that has a stopwatch and safety issues and what's going on with it. So I am aware of that. Um, but for now, it's just easier for me. I mean, I'm using both platforms, but I'm using this one because I do have a lot of people on this platform who are only on this platform with me. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I wanted to reiterate what Renee said. I don't see how we could all be wrong.
No. By the way, I mean, okay, if we're going to be accused of being Delulu, I mean, again, I'm gonna spare you the conspiracy theories today, okay, or any theories really, except to say I continued to ask, and today I asked some things in past tense after they had apparently happened, and I'll just say I was getting the same answers. So I really, again, I've said from the very beginning, we are being called on to trust our intuition. We are, there are always forces that are going to try to divide us against each other and spew hate and because of fear. And I've got people who really wanted the same outcome many of us wanted who are now spewing hate at me. And that is fear. And that is understandable, but I want you to see it as such. And I want you to go with what your gut says, not what my gut says or anybody else's. But my mission is to get people connected to their intuition. Now, my intuition, my downloads this morning were very interesting. And they are just like everything else have come to pass. And by the way, if you look at some videos of mine in the last few days, there's some interesting downloads that are beginning to form a different story right now. And again, everything's open to interpretation. But I woke up this morning to, what was it? Still waters run deep. Still waters run deep was what I got today. I know I'm beginning to understand what that means, right?
Okay.
What it means for me is, I mean, I know because these are my guides that are sending me these. And then the song, the Men at Work song, It's a Mistake. So I thought that's interesting because that was set against a backdrop of, a certain type of WAR back in the NUCL, whatever, in the early 80s. And so very, very interesting stuff. Somebody sent me The Sound of Silence. And if anybody wants to listen to that, I'm all about the music. But if anybody wants to listen to the lyrics of that, and by the way, I did some research on the meaning of that. And what came up was, get this, it was part of originally in an album called, what was it called? Something about Awake at 3 a.m. or Wednesday at 3 a.m. Wednesday at 3 a.m. The synchronicity. So we can have some fun with that. But in all seriousness, my downloads are telling me what I need to know. And again, when I asked in retrospect, because the thing we've been all asking all along is this our ego? Is this our bias? Are we all wrong? Are we all delusional? And again, when you've got your ego in check, you get the right answers. Spirit tells me some things I hate to hear. Like spirit tells me things that I need to know. And I ask for, like today, I asked for a real truth and I was getting a weak yes. And I said, I can take it. And I got the little squeeze of my heart. And then I got the yes, which was like, yes, you were wrong about that. Thank you. Right. And thank you. I've come to the point in my healing where I'm never upset. I'm just so grateful for all of this knowledge. And so for all of you who are saying I'm still calm and hopeful, yes, like, are you looking within? Are you feeling within? And is that how you're feeling? Honor that. Your gut is telling you more than what your eyes have told you today.
Yes. Amen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Amen to that. This is the main message I've been getting today to talk about is that we need to trust our intuition. And I know right now it may be really challenging. It may look like all of these intuitives were wrong. Um, and that may make you want to not trust intuition. And I understand that impulse. But when I look at the bigger picture and I see what we've been shown about the rise of the divine feminine happening right now, about all of these people throughout the realm who have been having dreams who've been tapping into their intuition, who've been expressing their intuition for the first time, sharing it publicly, talking about their dreams and using their pendulums and tarot cards in a way that they never have in the past. Like there are a lot of people on here who only used to use it for themselves or for private, and now they're publicly discussing, oh, I pulled a card. This is all part of a really big movement. And given that we're part of this big movement, it doesn't make sense that everybody could be wrong about something so profoundly significant. Although that's what it appears as, right? It appears that,
Mhm.
and so there's a couple of things that could have happened, right? One is that maybe, like people like me, I'll speak for myself. Um, I kept getting a clear image of Lotus Queen with her hand in the air taking the oath. I didn't get any pictures of Naked Emperor doing anything except being in a box in the rotunda. I came to the conclusion, therefore, that today would not happen. And so maybe I misinterpreted. I assumed logically that if the one thing happened, the other thing could not happen. And so that's one possibility, that people are misinterpreting their visions slightly. Um, but one thing that we've all shared, we haven't all shared a vision about today, but we did all share a vision about the final outcome. And today, what we've been told happened today does not appear to be consistent with the final outcome, right? And that's what has us all very confused and has some people feeling hopeless because it doesn't look like there's a path to victory, right? When we look at today and what we've been shown, it looks like it's over. It looks like there's no hope. It looks like there's no way for her to get into that seat. And so, what I'm being reminded of today is that we don't always know the how. And sometimes we have to believe in something, even though we don't understand how it's going to come about. And so I feel like we're being challenged to see, can we stay in this hope even with today? um
Yes.
and you know did you want to say
Yes,
something?
sorry to interrupt. Yes, that's exactly it. Like, what are our choices here? Okay, let's take everything just on its face. Is this where we give up? Is this what we came this far to do? Are you kidding me? Like, the whole point of this, we all arose at that hour. For what reason? Was it all a ruse? Are we just a bunch of clowns, as our bots would say? Are we really? Like, really? No, we are. Now, there is one theory I
Tinfoil
will
hats.
allow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. One thing that I did consider, but I don't believe this is so, but it's something worth considering, that this was all because I know that our guides took us here. I trust my gut. I trust my guides. I'm not wavering on that. I allow that we have human error, but this is beyond human error. So many hundreds of us cannot, it can't be all human error across the board. That's it. So it could be that we were brought to this moment to get people this far. Because can you imagine the alternative? If we did not create this movement on November 7th, okay, where would we be now? Hope and despair would have swallowed us whole, and we would be so low vibe. So to
Mm-hmm.
get to where we are now, maybe it's in stages. It's like we've got to be able to raise the collective vibe. What other chance do you have? Listen, I was lucky to have met Reuben Hurricane Carter in his lifetime. Anybody know the hurricane? You know his story. A movie was made of his life. He was,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, he's a boxer, and he was
Yeah.
jailed for decades for a murder, double murder, I think, that he did not commit. And he was the kindest, gentlest soul. And I read his book and I talked to him, and I was just so impressed and amazed back then. I knew this was going to mean something one day. It does not matter. It does not matter what your external circumstances are. He had his faith. He had his intuition, he had his knowing of what was right, and he was unshakable because he knew, trusted, and loved himself and had faith in the divine. And so I remember thinking he's never imprisoned because he's, in his mind, he is free. In his heart, he is free. In his Whole body, he is free. So we have that choice. If he could do that for decades, what can we do for a few months or a few years? And it is not coming to that. That's my
Yeah.
feeling on it. This is what
Yes,
we
and yes, and Leonard. Leonard's another example of that who just got clemency today. Leonard Peltier.
see. There we
Dark
go.
Dark Brandon gave him clemency today. We've all been, you know, demanding that he be released for decades. He's a for those who don't know, he's an American Indian movement activist who's been unfairly imprisoned for decades,
There you go.
falsely accused. How much faith must he have had all this time?
Yes. Yes. Did he just give up and go, no, that's the way it is. They're doing this to me. We have to, I mean, if you look at the levels of consciousness, I'm always about Dr. David Hawkins' work and letting go. I've been,
Love David
please,
Hawkins.
oh my gosh, like get that book, get it on audio. It's such a balm. It's like a drug when you take it. It's not, shouldn't have said that, but read that book, listen to
Let me
that
go.
book.
I think my sister has it.
Yeah,
Where did it go?
I've got it. I was listening to it today, but it's out in my shed, I believe. But oh no, it's in my bathroom. I'll go get it. I pick it up like a tarot deck, and I just open it to a page. And I had one come up today that was really cool. But anyway, he's levels of consciousness. If we want to be vibing low, then we are in victim and oppressor mode. We are down there in that space, okay? And that's our choice if we want to be that way and say they did this to us. But while you may have been victimized, you can choose to not be a victim. And so that way we move up. We move up from fear. Fear is a very low vibrating emotion. And the turning point between the low vibe, the sort of victim oppressor mode and the hopeful positive mode is courage. So I always say to my clients, what does courage have you do? Courage transmutes fear. And then we can climb the levels up. And he's got like a really good depiction of it. But while you're getting, see, here it is, letting go, and it's so dog-eared. Oh, which one have you got of his? Oh,
Power versus force.
I have that out in the shed. Yes, that's amazing. That'll teach you about all the muscle testing that I talk about and how to do it yourself. So this is it. It's just called letting go. I was going through this tremendous breakup a year and a half ago, and I was like, there's got to be a book called Letting Go. See, my guides are always talking to me. I'm like, 2 minutes later, it was ordered off Amazon. But I opened it up today and it was talking about desire, and desire is actually low vibrating. And that may surprise you. So we have all desired an outcome, right? We desired an outcome in this contest. We desired an outcome today. And what it tells us, and of course this is consistent with manifestation, is that desire, it indicates a lack of something. So instead of that, we have to totally surrender. He says the impossible becomes possible as soon as we are totally surrendered. This is because wanting blocks receiving it and results in a fear of not getting it. Fear. The energy of desire is, in essence, a denial of what we want, a denial that what we want is ours for the taking. We are used to, it says this is a different way of looking at achieving goals than the one we're used to from the programming of our world. We're used to picturing ambition and success as being associated with hard work. So on it goes. But basically, when we desire something, we are attached to the outcome. We are in a state of lack. So my goal here is to have everybody feel like what world are we choosing to live in right now? Not what do we want, what do we have? And what are we doing right now with it?
Yeah, let me stop and give them some more information. So, David Hawkins, MD, PhD, has written a few books. This is another one of them, Power versus Force. And he has these great charts that I always teach in my classes. And this is what Alyssa's referring to, where he looks at different emotions and then he rates them. And he shows, how, peace, see, peace, joy, and love. And then here's the vibration.
Yeah.
And when you get down to fear, you're at a really low vibration, see 100 versus enlightenment is up here in 1,000. Love is 500. Joy is 540. And so we're much stronger when we're operating at a higher vibration. And one of the things that I have gotten consistently over the last several weeks is that I was meant to do the work of helping to keep people at a vibration of hope. Oh, was hope on our list? Of hope,
Yeah.
and to stay out of fear and despair. And I was told to do that because they said it was going to help us to to stay in our power, to anchor ourselves in our power, so that we are better able to take control of our destiny.
Yes.
And and so this is really important. And I know it's also very challenging when we're going through difficult times where there's a lot of reasons to be fearful, right? I mean, I certainly, when I look at this person, this man, uh, there's a lot of logical reasons for me to be fearful because of who I am and the
Yeah.
fact that he has made it his life's work to target people like me. So
Absolutely.
he has very specifically targeted the sovereignty of Native American peoples, and I am Native. He has very specifically targeted Black people, and I am Black. He has very specifically targeted women, and I am a woman. He has very specifically targeted queer people, and I am queer. And so, and I have family members who are the children of immigrants, and he's threatening to deport people who are born here.
Mhm.
So, um, I'm not saying that I don't understand that there's a lot of logical reasons to be afraid, but I'm still encouraging people to do everything you can to rise above that vibration of fear and to try to do everything you can to get back into the vibration of hope or of peace or of love. And sometimes to get into that vibration of love, all you have to do is love somebody nearby, is do something loving for someone near you, to be of service for somebody,
Yeah.
to feel even just the love that you feel for your animals in your life, or the plants, or just a feeling of gratitude. Gratitude is a very high vibration, and so even in the midst of fear and despair, if you can focus some of your energy on gratitude, like that's one thing I've been doing since the big joust, is every day I was looking around my apartment and I was thinking about how grateful I am for my apartment, how grateful I am for my Wi-Fi, my electricity, my heat. It's been really cold, and so every day I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I have heat, because
Mhm.
some people don't have heat.
Yes.
And so grateful for my neighborhood. I live in a diverse neighborhood with people who are friendly and civil to one another. I'm grateful that my neighborhood is full of dogs that I get to stop and pet. And so I just am always reminding myself every day, what am I grateful for? Especially when I start feeling stressed about what I don't have or what I do want that I'm desiring and not having, right? Then it's time to once again affirm, okay, but I'm grateful for what I do have. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my friends.
Yes. Yes.
Um, Someone in the chat was saying that they wanted us to, that someone was complaining that we weren't answering questions. And I don't know that I have a lot of answers for specific questions today. I mean, I'm going to keep checking the chat and see if there are questions I can answer. So Iris said the name and author of the books. So it's David Hawkins, and the one of the books is Power versus Force, and the other book is,
Letting go, the pathway of surrender, and I'll link it in my link tree in bio as soon as I'm done here.
yeah,
So,
Mona just put the name, one of the names in. Thank you, Mona. Um, so
anybody, yeah.
I wanted to say something more. Oh yeah, good,
Mhm.
about where we're at today and what I'm thinking about it, because I feel like that's why I'm doing these lives, so that I can share with you
Yeah.
my process.
Mhm.
So I woke up very happy, very confident, very shocked by what I was told. And I keep saying what I was told because, to be honest, I'm not sure. I'm in doubt. Like, did it really happen? And part of the reason I feel that way is because we no longer have access to news,
Yes.
and that's been the case for really since the joust. That in the United States we don't really have access to news, and so I actually go and look at news abroad, in order to try to get information, because we can't seem to get any news here. And so I'm really distrustful now of what's being played on the air, because there's so many things that are not being shared. So even last night, when there were two confessions made by the Naked Emperor on live television,
3.
mainstream media, three, someone said three, where he
Mhm.
specifically named Starboy. Um, the spin in the mainstream media the next day or today, I think, or last night, I'm not sure when the spin started, but it was, oh, there's a bunch of crazy people online with a conspiracy theory. That was the spin.
Yeah.
And all they had to do was play the tape.
Yeah, and this is the thing. I'm only getting clips here on this platform. Like when I went back to look, the headlines were, "Oh, he is." It's all. It's so sanitized. Now, I do want to make a point because nobody was really getting what I was saying. I have never ever had to defend the naked emperor, but I will say this. There was that one reference to the Olympics, and like they were saying, "Sir, you're going to be prez during that time." And I said, "No, I don't think so." But then they RIGGE the contest, and here I am. I believe that that was just the whole ego thing, talking about how if the Dems had an RIGGED, the contest, which is ridiculous. We can leave that there. But in his mind, he didn't win because of that. But if he had, he would have just had those 8 consecutive years so that by 2026 Olympics, he would not be the ruler of the land. Does that make sense to anybody? Like, I actually believe that that reference was just a smear and a lie against the other side, saying that they took away his win 4 years ago. That's what I believe. So but the muskrat thing is what it is. Like
Well, he very specifically said that that Muskrat had knowledge
yes,
of how to tabulate tickets, and that's
yeah,
how he won that particular state.
yeah.
Um,
And no mainstream media showed that, as to my knowledge, from
the
what I can
thing
see.
is, if it was the case that he did not confess, then they would just play the tape. That's what I believe.
No, that's a good point too.
You know, because
It's
if you let someone speak for themselves, if
yeah,
people can say whatever they want about him, but if you just play the tape, we can all listen to the tape. And
mhm,
so why did they feel the need to hide what he said and shift the entire discourse to something else and start calling us crazy? Um, so no, I think, yeah, you could one of those sentences, maybe you could try to interpret another
mhm.
way. But there were three different times that he said things in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
speech.
absolutely.
Um,
So yeah, you pick and choose. I mean, the one time, can
so
you imagine if Biden had said anything like that? Like, come on. Anyway, yeah,
yeah, we got to be careful not to use names,
I know. Sorry.
especially now that we don't know what's going on, with
True
certain
that. True that.
stopwatches.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Zip it. I'll zip it.
yeah, so like, and for me, that was yet more proof that my guides were reliable because my guide said that he was going to confess in front of his own people. And I think that's what he did last night. He said, "Oh yeah, this is what I do. Starboy helped me,
Yeah.
and this is how I got these tabulations." And they did say he was going to do that, and he did do it. They did say that Rasputin and Starboy were behind this, and that it involved many other jousts. And we've now had lots of news to that effect coming out of Europe.
Yeah.
I did say that ICC and G8 and NATO were all going to be involved, and there have been news reports of all of them coming out and making statements. And so I also said that the Sparkety Sparks in California were intentionally set, and that was connected to this whole criminal enterprise with the Seven Thieves and Starboy. And now there are lots of reports in Los Angeles about the fact that it's believed to have been started. Several people have been arrested. And we had an ABC News story a couple of days ago indicating that the ATF and the FBI and several other three-letter agencies were in Los Angeles investigating the the Sparkety Sparks. You
Mm-hmm.
don't do that with a wildfire,
Right.
you do that with a criminal enterprise. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm bringing this up to say my guides have been accurate about a lot of things. And so I find it hard to believe that they would be accurate about all of these aspects of the major crime, but they wouldn't be accurate about the outcome,
Right.
which is Lotus Queen.
Yeah.
So that's why I still have faith, that and the fact that there are just so many people out there who got the same thing. So many people who've been posting in my comments for the last 10 weeks. So many dreamers, so many intuitives who've been saying, I had a dream that Lotus Queen is in the seat. I had a dream where they told me not to worry. I had a dream where they told me, don't believe what you see. This is not going to stand. I mean, so many people had this dream.
Yeah.
Is everybody wrong?
Yeah, and I mean, if you do want to look at what we are observing, it being that quiet, the current emperor being so happy looking today, like let's just observe what there's been so much quiet and no protestation on the 6th of this month, and no, like start looking that, like just start making a list of that if you're really concerned and you want, and then think about what our guides have told us that we have passed on to you. It is consistent. It's not consistent with just giving up. It may seem that way to the untrained eye, but it is not that way. By the way, mystical shadow is apparently in the house.
Oh, Mystical Shadow, I'd like you to come up if you're here. I have invited Mystical Shadow before, but they weren't ready to put their camera on. They're a little shy. So if you're ready to put your camera on, I'd really love to have you come and talk. We've all been enjoying your pendulum work.
Mm-hmm.
And would love to hear from you directly. Um, I wanted to just read a couple of comments I was following in the chat. Tay's Institute Healing pointed out that I seem to remember that the timeline with Lotus Q was longer out than today. Yeah, a lot of us were getting March,
March.
but a lot of people I think assumed that you couldn't get to there unless today was a certain way,
Mm-hmm.
and we thought today had to go a certain way for March to happen. And so I think maybe that's where we made our mistake, was kind of trying to bring logic into it,
Yes.
because we're all consistently getting. I realize I don't know what Mystic Shadow's picture looks like, and so when they show up, I don't think I'll know to click on it.
Oh,
Um, so maybe if they do accept the invitation, can one of the mods let me know what they look like? Oh, there they are. Oh, they're letting them in.
mm-hmm.
Yes, we're finally going to get to see Mystic
Hi,
Shadows. Hi.
how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Hi.
Hey, hey. Thanks for all your work.
Yeah.
I don't know if I did that right. I've
We're still
never
waiting
joined a
to
live
see you.
before.
They sent you a camera. They sent you permission to turn your camera on
Okay.
from the mods. I just saw it go by.
Okay.
So if you just go like this, I think you'll see a little movie camera icon, and then you just click it.
Yeah. Does it minimize
Oh,
or?
why did I get so big?
Hi.
Yay!
How are you
Okay,
guys?
I am so excited to speak to you, Mystic
Yeah.
Shadow. You've been doing such amazing pendulum work, and for people in the chat who haven't followed her, please follow her.
Thank
She
you.
has been doing pendulum work several times a day recently, about the joust, about today, about what was going to happen. And I've been following her. A lot of us have been following her. She doesn't have a big following yet. I think it's because you came into the conversation later, like just in the last few weeks, right?
Yes, I was a
Yeah.
viewer. I was following all of you guys, and I
Yeah.
just felt that like little push, to start sharing because I was doing the pendulum for myself and I was getting the same answers as you guys, like everybody. And I just, like, I'm not used to being on camera, so I'm sorry, I'm nervous.
That's
and,
okay.
um, but yeah, like, I just felt that little push and that little voice, like, just kind of like, do it, do it, do it. I'm like, but I don't want to be on camera. So I made the compromise, like, I'll make the videos, but I'm not going to show my face. And they're like, okay.
I know. I've been trying to get you on my lives for a
You
while, and you're like,
did,
I don't want to be
yeah.
on camera. And it's like, okay, I respect that. We all have a role to play, and everyone doesn't want to be on camera. Some of us don't want to be on camera, but we just end up on camera, and we just have to accept it.
Yeah.
Because when I started out, when I was younger, I was a producer, and I remember I was a producer in TV, in not TV, in college, on like a little college TV station, and
Mhm.
everybody was like, "We want you in front of the camera," and I'm like, "Absolutely not." I just want to be
I'm
behind the scenes. And then they tried to put me in front of the camera one day, And I did that total deer in the headlights thing where I was just staring at the camera during the whole
Yes.
show, and they were like, "Okay, you were right. You don't need to be in front of the camera."
I'm that person on Teams chat for work where they're like, "Okay, cameras on." I'm like, "No."
Well,
But it's so good to speak
let's
with you
hear from
guys.
you. So, for those who don't know, Mystic Shadows has been doing really detailed pendulum readings a few times a day, I think, for the last few days, few weeks, and
Yes.
was consistently getting information about today, and very exciting information about today, about things turning out a certain way, about the big ceremony not actually happening, about there being something else happening. So can you kind of walk us through a little bit with about what you got and then how that changed? Because I think then you got new messages.
Yes. So I woke up this morning. It was 3:33 on the dot in the morning. And it wasn't that feeling like on election night. I felt calm. I felt really calm. I had a really hard time staying asleep. And then when I finally did get up, I felt that I call it a tug. Like I wanted to check in because I remember when I was a viewer constantly like clicking on everybody's pages, like I need to feel that reassurance. So I wanted to provide that to anybody that came across my channel. And that's why I was making, like 3 updates every day. So this morning I felt confident. I felt fine. I checked in, all the answers were still the same. And then I think it was around like maybe 10:30. It was right before 11. I felt that little tug again, like check in. You have to check in. So I got my little sheet out, my pendulum, went through my little ritual that I always do. And like I always check in to make sure that it's okay to film, for TikTok. And I got the yes. And I always, calibrated and I'll ask the first couple of questions off camera. And as soon as I saw that, yes, he was going to get inaugurated, I'm like, this is why you were pushing
Oh,
me.
I
Really
got to
excited.
interrupt you. There's a lot of words I'm not allowed to use.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I know that I think some creators don't get the same kind of attack that some of us other creators get, but
Yeah.
I have to avoid. We avoid the E word, the I word,
Okay.
names, proper names. So just use code words for all of those, please.
Okay. Yes, I'm so sorry. But no, I felt that tug to just check in, and that's when the answers just completely flipped. Um, but then I can't, I'm still new to this. Like, I don't want to come off and, like, make everybody think that I've been doing this for a long time because I haven't. Um, but the questions just kind of pop into my head. And so I was asking, is it fake? Is it not real? And it kept saying yes. I'm like, so if he does take the oath, is it going to be real? And I kept getting no. And so I put up that video and I checked in after the video feeds on the news ended. And like all afternoon, it's been telling me like it wasn't real. It wasn't real. It's not happening. She's still going to get in there. So that gave me a lot of comfort. And I wanted to share that. I did do a tarot card reading earlier, but with that, I feel more comfortable with the pendulum. I'm still learning the tarot. I feel like that's like a whole nother language. So I just kind of sat down with the cards and I figured out what they were saying, put it together, and made a video because, again, I just wanted to reassure people that nothing is what it seems like it is. So, yeah.
Was my message, and I will confirm what you found. You and I have talked about that
Yes.
same thing. And I pulled a card just for fun yesterday out of my daughter's deck, and it said time to go, and the number of the card was 45.
Wow.
Like one card just for fun, because I was like, what's the story here? So we have been continually, it's almost like spirits like just Faith, right? Just like we're telling you
Yes.
as much as we can in the moment. And I think there's also a lot of moving parts. So it may make sense as to why at 10:30 for you. Were
Yeah.
you messaged me right around that time and said I got something totally different.
Yes, as soon as I did that, I think I saw on my notifications ethical psychic reply to your video, and I'm like, oh my god, if I trust anybody, it's these two. So I replied. I'm like, can you if you can check, and
Mhm.
that's when you confirm that
Like at
everything
the
had kind of flipped.
very last minute. For me, and when I saw that, it was like a half hour before, and the energy just fell. I was feeling, I'm an empath. I feel the collective energy. I was feeling a lot of different stuff this morning. And so it was kind of hard to distinguish, but I was doing the same thing you were. I was checking in and are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And I did
Yes.
pendulum and I did muscle testing. And again, I did some meditation. But yeah, it wasn't until the very last minute. So who
Yes.
knows? Again, still waters run deep was the download I woke up with. That totally squares with a lot going, like the duck's legs under the surface just going
Yes.
crazy and in all different directions, and who can really track what's going on there when on the surface it just looks like a duck's sitting there. So yeah, I trust the process. And what I was saying earlier, and I'm sure you feel this way too, we trust
Definitely.
our gut more than anything. I
Yes.
even asked that. I asked my guides, is it okay that I trust my gut more than what I am seeing with my eyes?
Yes.
And I got a yes. And I think that is such a huge takeaway for everybody right now. And of course we need to bring our mind into it, but we do, you do, we all do, right?
Yeah. And I feel like it's so much bigger than anything we could even think. Like the things that go on behind the scenes, like we're never going to know. Even like when this comes to light, we're not going to know everything. So it's so like I keep, saying in the videos, it's cling on to your hope. It is the most powerful thing that we have. It's like we have control over that. You can choose to cling on and just be positive because you get what you put out there. So it's so important to me that I remain positive, and I've told viewers and comments in the videos, people around me, it's the only thing you can control is like your attitude, your just you.
Yep. Yeah, like are our guides being cruel to us? All of our guides? Is the universe just like noogieing us? Like no, that is not what's
Yeah,
happening. It is, you're right, it is really a call. It's their reminder, if nothing else, for us to say we need to just be in our power. And again, I think it is a call as well. For me, mea culpa, I became attached to the outcome. And we don't, as you say, there's so many moving parts, so much going on. What if we just all agreed that our divine feminine is rising and we're done with all that old garbage? I think that's what we all have a choice to do today, right now,
yeah.
right?
And I feel like he is like I keep referring to him like all since forever. Like he's a cockroach, he's like that little cockroach crawling around and you're desperately trying to get him, but he always gets away. So I feel like things haven't come to light because they are just being so careful. Like they want to get this guy. And if they mess up, if they rush it, he's going to get away. And, you know, we can't let that happen. So I'm trying so hard to be patient, but I'm human. And I call it my little 10% will creep in, but then I'll just kind of like acknowledge it. I'm like, no, I don't want to, no. And I push it away.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's important to say that too. Like I honored myself today. Like this is, it's okay that you feel, that you were attached to outcome. You are living a human experience. And if we
Yeah.
just stayed in our spiritual space, then we would end up, in spiritual psychosis. So it is important for us to be human and have human experiences and learn,
Yeah.
and grow. And yes, as somebody was mentioning spirituality with Sam, saying it's all a play, maybe she meant literal. Well, I really do. I mean, my belief is that this is all human theater. It's all happening for us, for our healing, for our growth. So when you take that tact, things like today don't shake you. Like they goes, I'm always like very curious, and I encourage everyone to apply that lens of curiosity. Like, isn't that interesting? What is this here? Now, I say this as a woman of privilege, especially on this side of the border. I understand that, but I do believe that curiosity never hurt anybody. To say,
Yes.
what could this be teaching us, and what good positive things could this be teaching us about ourselves?
Yeah.
And how can we make sure we're not divided against each other like a lot of people and trolls are wanting us to be?
Oh yeah. I've been lucky. They've stayed away, but I noticed today a lot of them have come through and just kind of like, oh, ha ha ha, you know. But I kind of took a little time and I didn't even check.
Right.
I needed that little time to just feel my emotions, let them run their course. I don't want to keep anything bottled up or push it down. So I allowed myself to feel, sad, the disappointment, like why you were telling me this, and now I'm good. Like I worked it all out. So
And you said two words, let them. And that is that's a movement unto itself, the let them movement. And
yeah,
so someone in the comments earlier was saying like, what do we do when people are gloating? Let them gloat.
yeah,
Turn your ego down to like 5, 6%. Let them gloat.
yeah,
It's fine. I mean, listen, it doesn't matter now or later whether they gloat.
no,
It means nothing to me. It's like,
yeah,
I mean, it says a lot about what's going on with them. And often it is, it's actually, it was
yes,
fear, I think, that was finally released today from a
I
lot of
think
them, right?
so.
Right? They
Yes,
believe like, oh yeah, ha ha ha, whoo, I can let that breath go now. So
yeah,
again, most of human behavior, mean human behavior can come back to fear. And once we know that and we know this is human theater, it ain't nothing. Let them.
no, exactly.
Mhm.
I want to say things. I'm looking at the chat. Someone said, please invite Libby Meister. I did invite her into at my YouTube live. I asked her if she could invite me onto her YouTube, or I don't know if she's on this one, if she's on this platform. Um, and then I wanted to say something about the bots and also about, oh, I was going to respond to yet another thing. There's just so many things. So there's people in here saying, trust your intuition. Where's Yaya? So Yaya is one of my names. Um, Yaya Sarah asked the question, how on earth would they get him out? So I'm going to address those two things, and then maybe the rest of the panelists can also address it. First of all, when it comes to the people who are coming onto our lives and into our videos and leaving nasty comments, it makes me think of, when I was playing sports. So I played a lot of sports in high school. I played every sport. And, one thing that our coaches always taught us is that if you win a game, you're always supposed to be gracious about it. You go and shake hands with the other team, you say, good game, and you never rub it in their face. You don't do a lot of cheering while you're there. You wait till you get on the bus and then we all cheer, right? Because you don't want to make them feel bad about losing. And you're also happy about winning. You don't need to like rub it in anyone's face, right? You just want to be with your team and go like, burn off some steam on the bus and be like, we won, right? And hug and jump up and down and whatever. Well, I find it really interesting that the people who supposedly won have felt the need to spend so much of their time following the so called losers around to rub it in our face. And to me, that kind of demonstrates a lack of confidence
Yeah,
in their win. So I see it as a good thing. I mean, it's not pleasant to deal with, but I see it symbolically as a good thing because I have never had that experience of winning something and feeling the need to go like make people feel bad about it who lost. So that's one thing. The second question, what was the second question? Um,
Oh
that
my God.
Yaya asked, Yaya Sarah. I was going to answer that
Go
next.
back and look.
Now I forgot it. So Yaya Sarah had a question, and
If you can write it again, I'll just keep scrolling back.
I'm trying to find it. Oh, there's no search, is there?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm afraid of getting locked out of here.
I also think
Um,
that those people, they're just like, even if they don't know it, or if they know it and they don't want to admit it, they're searching for that hope. Like if they see us say something and then it happens, they're that much closer to just being in the light. I really think that, deep down, like they stick around, they watch because they want the hope that we have and that we're sharing.
Okay, I found it. Yeah, yeah. Sarah asked, how on earth will they get him out?
Oh, yes.
So this was where our logical mind was working. I know that for me, when I was coming up to this day, I was thinking logically, it has to happen today. This is the 11th hour, right? Because my guides kept saying the 11th hour is when it's going to change. And I thought, well, this is it. This is the 11th hour because once he's in, how do we get him out? And so that's a logical conclusion, but is it intuitive? Um, I haven't been told that by my guides that today was the day, right? I was told 11th hour. I was told she'll be taking the oath. I was told keep the faith. I was told it's part of an international confab of many thieves and many realms, that it involves many jousts, that it involves international agencies, that it was going to have to be a neutral third party who interfered and kind of set the record straight for us. It couldn't be us. It couldn't be the blue team or the red team or anyone in our realm. It had to be a neutral third party. I was told that we were going to have to go through some things before she finally got in the seat. Um, I was told that the star beings were going to assist us, that the star beings are not going to allow this particular group of people to be in power because of the threat of Newtonian war. Um, and so when I put together everything that I was told, I realized that I was never specifically told today is the day. And if today doesn't look a certain way, then it's all over. I was never told that.
Yeah.
So, but logically, right? We ask ourselves, well, if it doesn't happen today, how on earth will it happen? And this is the challenge now for us. Do we have to really suspend logic to that extent? Is that what we're being asked to do? That
Nope.
we have to, maybe we have to have faith, even though we don't understand exactly how it's going to happen.
And that's the thing. I always say release attachment to how and when, how and when. So I will say something that was not a smart thing for me to do was to give any kind of dates or time, because what I've done since before this joust, like in my own life, I have learned in my own journey, it's like you put the intention out there, you work towards it, and you've got to let it go. How would we know all the hows? We would have to know all the moving parts. And by the way, we're assuming where people are asking, how do you get him out? You're assuming he's actually in. I know, tinfoil hat, I know. But like that's an
Yeah,
assumption.
and that's a good question. Is he really in? Is he really in the office? Was this just a show because it's part of the sting operation? Do
Yeah,
we
we both
know? We don't
corrected.
know.
We both and I don't even know your name, Mystic Shadows. I don't know if you want to share it. Are you anonymous? Like
We
No,
can
I'm
call you
good.
Mystic.
It's
Huh?
Teresa.
Teresa. Yeah,
Teresa.
Teresa and I actually, I said to her, I just messaged and said, do you want to chat? Are you doing okay? As we all have been checking in on each other in this community. And I said, I've got some wild thoughts I'm not ready to go public with. Not so wild because they make everything make sense. And you and I both, what you wrote in that message down to numbers was
Yeah.
like bing, 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 bing. So again, I'm not in the, I've never been in the space of peddling false hope. And so I'm sure today is not the day for all of that. But just to say, there are so many ways that things could go down. Just open your mind to all possibilities and let it go. The universe knows our intention. The universe knows our strength and power. That's all we need. Let it go and do what you can to increase your, again, connection with others, community with others. We have been told that, and I know people have a lot of questions about the star beings and what we think their role is here. But that's what we are being told we need to do. So let's focus inward. There's never been a better time, actually, to do that.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that show Homeland, but there was a scene where we thought something was going on, and then all of a sudden we find out that it's all been like produced. It was all planned to catch like the bad guys. And that popped into my head yesterday, like last night. And then this morning it makes sense after You sent me that message, and I did like a pendulum session. It clicked. Like that's what's going on.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
nothing is what it
I
seems.
call it the bigger swimming creature theory.
Mm-hmm.
And if you start again, consider it a rabbit hole. Let's just for entertainment purposes only. Just say if you go down that rabbit hole, then everything we have seen that makes no sense, everything that we have felt, which now seems to have no place. You know, like the things we've been feeling. Where do we put that? It all has a place to go, and it all clicks, as you said.
Yeah. I don't know if I can say, but it's kind of like if you're caught, you'll go along with it if they promise you, like, hey, we'll go easy on you, that. So
Yeah, we've all watched the who is that we all follow here on TikTok? I forget her name. She's a
Kate,
writer. Was that
isn't it Kate
Kate?
Basarge? She's
Yes,
like the writer producer.
yes,
Kate
yes,
Sarge.
and she's done like on CSI and stuff, and
Yeah,
so
Yeah,
go follow Kate Sarge.
she's
If people are just
amazing.
coming on, if people are just coming on, please go follow Mystic Shadows.
Oh, she's
She
here.
doesn't have
Kate's
a
here.
large.
I
Kate
just
Sarge
put
is
Kate.
here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, bring her on.
please come up on the stage, Kate. Kate, if you can, come up on the stage. Mods, can you let her in?
I can
Mystic
get off
Shadows,
here
can
if you
everyone
want.
please, um, if she comes up and you want to go, that's fine. um, can everyone
Are you
please
allowed to
follow
have
Mystic?
four? Or I can step out and then
We can
let
have
Kate
four.
go.
We can
Okay.
have four. Let's make it the more the merrier.
Okay.
But yeah, anyone who wants to leave. But I wanted to invite people to follow Mystic Shadows. She's been doing a lot of pendulum work on the joust and on today's events for the last, several couple of weeks. And so let's support her.
Thank
Um,
you.
she's new to this. She's new to this work. She took a chance and came publicly and started doing this work. She's not a she's kind of a shy person. I had to talk her into coming on camera, um,
Yeah.
but she's really
You know,
been dedicated to helping us.
and you
Um,
know what? I felt that little tug again. Like I just finished dinner and I felt that little tug like, brush your hair. Like, you're going to go on. You're going to go on. And I'm like, okay, okay, I'll do it. Hi, Kate.
Hi guys.
hey,
Hi.
Kate, I'm gonna expand you.
Oh, you don't
Um,
have to do that. Okay, hi. Behind me. Maybe I'll come over where there's not a mess of a kitchen behind me for everyone to look at. I was in
so
the middle
we're
of
having a dreaming woman circle here to
oh
just kind of check in how we're feeling, what we've been getting, what our process is of understanding what happened today, and just to hear from people who want to ask us questions or want to share their feelings about how they're feeling or what they think this means, because this is a community, and some of us have come up on here and created accounts and posted every day, but in my comments, there have been hundreds of people who have been posting their dreams and their intuitions every day. And so there are a lot of us who have been a part of this movement who have been seeing a certain outcome.
Yeah.
It's not just us. But Kate the Sarge please follow Kate the Sarge. I love her content. She is I might get this wrong, but a screenwriter and producer.
yeah.
And what she does is, I come on here and tell stories, and so does she. And so we're both writers, and I usually write nonfiction, but I also write poetry. And she comes on here and she tells stories about the joust based on her expertise as a screenwriter and what the screenplay would look like.
Yeah.
And the work, and it seems to be also guided by intuition, and so yeah. So why don't you share with us maybe a little bit of how you got involved in this work that
Yeah.
and then anything you want to share about today.
Sure. Yeah, so I started working in the world of scripted crime shows about 15 years ago. And I'm actually more of a romantic comedy writer, but I ended up getting my first job on a show called Castle, and it just kind of went from there. And so when all this started going down, I realized that I had all of this knowledge and expertise in this world of FBI and solving crimes and how a lot of the shenanigans were going down, especially with cybercrime. And one of the shows I worked on was CSI Cyber. And one of the difficulties of that show, and I think a reason why ultimately it wasn't successful, is I think cybercrime is really hard for people to grasp. It's really hard for people to understand and feel like it impacts them and that it is relevant to them, right? Like there's basic crimes that we can understand that feel more salacious, that have more of an impact when you visually watch them on television, right? Cybercrime is a lot of coding. It's a lot of people behind computer screens. It's not very sexy. And so we had to figure out a way to make it sexy and to explain it to the American public. And so I felt like that was kind of my little superpower, is that I had spent 2 years of my life doing that. And I thought, well, I can come on here and I can explain this in terms that people will hopefully understand. I can entertain them. I can make cybercrime relatable. I can distill it down into something that feels relevant and feels applicable to what's happening right now, right? And so that's kind of how I started. And then, of course, realizing I had to talk in code and all of that, I thought, well, I'm a storyteller. I'm just going to start telling stories about how I would write this. And that kind of became almost this manifestation journey of envisioning what I felt like the story should be, right? And I just posted a video about sort of the process that I've been through today and where I've gotten to. And I had a lot of faith in our institutions. I had a lot of faith in our Department of Justice. I had a lot of faith that these men and women in these departments were going to do their jobs. And I'm not saying that there isn't still hope that they might. It's going to be very difficult now for them to do it. But just looking at the facts, right? Looking at what happened on the day of the competition and all the days since, I was looking at it just from the perspective of, if I worked at one of those 3-letter agencies, if I worked in the cybercrime division, what would I be doing right now? What would my job be? What would I be looking into? And so I was really coming from a place of research and facts and what I knew about these agencies and what I knew about cyber. And the pieces made sense to me. Now, it is very possible that there is corruption, that there are dark forces at play. I was living in a high vibration, right? As we all were. I was living in the best possible outcome. I was living in the best possible version of the story because I didn't want to live anywhere else. That's where I wanted to be at, right? And that's why I think today feels so strange, because it doesn't make sense with where we have all been this whole time and the path that we have been on as dreaming women, as intuitives, as storytellers. This part of the story, this twist, doesn't make sense to me. I would not write this twist, everybody. This would not be part of the screenplay. Now,
Fire that writer.
yeah, but part of what I got to today, because I really had to sit with this, right? Part of what I got to today is that I really fully believe there's a reason why we all woke up at 4 a.m. There's a reason why we're having this conversation. There's a reason why we have connected. There is this feminine rising, right? But in order for there to be this full spiritual revolution that I think we have started, there have to be obstacles driving us. If there are no obstacles driving us, that's not a revolution, right? We don't have to come together and band together and fight if there's nothing to fight against. Mm-hmm. So as much as this obstacle is terrible and scary, and I'm not going to diminish it, it is very scary what he represents. But it's also a reason for us to continue to hope, continue to band together, continue to move forward. Because we are not going to be defeated. We are not defeated, okay? And I think that's something that Kamala said to a little boy who said to her when they were swearing in the Senate. And he said, "I'm so sorry that you lost." And she's like, "No, it's not about that. We're not defeated." And I keep having that message play over and over in my mind. This is a stumbling block. This is an obstacle. And it's not what we wanted, but it's going to continue to push our movement forward. It's going to continue to make sure that we know that we have to combine our efforts even more to get the result that we want. Now, we can't make the DOJ do what we want, right? We can't make anybody do what we want. We can only work from our own sense of self and sense of hope and sense of purpose. And so I'm going to continue coming on here and spreading messages of hope. I'm going to continue coming on here and talking about what's going on because that is important to the community and it's important to what we are building. And I'm not just going to say, oh, well, we got it wrong. Now I'm abandoning the community. Now I'm leaving, right? Yeah. We are all struggling today. We are all grieving today. We all really saw something different and you're not crazy. We were looking at facts. We were looking at data. We were looking at math. We were all following our intuition, but we were also looking at actual things happening. Okay. We were looking at actual events that were occurring. We were looking at actual EOs and D&I reports and things that were supposed to happen. So it's really easy to feel gaslit right now as a collective. It's really easy to be like, well, were we the only ones who saw it? Did we miss something? I keep going back to, I'm sorry, I'm talking so much, but
no, it's okay.
I'm going to process out loud today. So thank you. I keep going back to when the VP and POTUS had to cancel their Christmas plans and rush back to the house that is white and spend all of that vacation time hunkered down. And I keep going, what were they doing? What was happening? Something happened. We may never know, but we weren't wrong to think that it had something to do with this. And I still think it might have. We also don't know. There are so many things, as you all I'm sure have said, that we don't have any knowledge about. One of the things I also want you to all hold in your heads is that there are other countries with intelligence agencies who know information. They have, I think, been withholding information, hoping our agencies would do the right thing. Now, if that doesn't happen, those are possibilities for how information could get revealed. I still think the truth is going to come to light. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I really do. I don't know how that's going to look. And I'm sure the concern is, well, okay, if it's leaked, if somebody else says it, no one's going to believe it. And then it'll just, go quietly into the night. That's not what I'm feeling energetically. I'm feeling like the truth is going to come out at the right moment when it matters. And we as a collective are going to have to make sure that everyone knows it and that we come up with a plan and we know what we're going to do with that information. No one's coming to save us. We are the saviors. We have to band together. There's more of us. It's power of the people, ultimately. That's where I'm at.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I feel like this is not like the season finale. I think it's one of those like two-parter episodes. It's like it could be continued.
To be continued. Yeah, I really do. I think this is a very strange cliffhanger moment for our season finale. But again, every show needs a villain. Every show needs an antagonist. You need someone that motivates the protagonist to do what they need to do. And we all woke up and we're going to continue to wake up. And part of today's lesson is that there is deep corruption in our institutions and they are not going to save us as of right now. I still have this very sliver of hope. I will say this. If you've been following what's happened in South Korea and what has happened to their leader, that is a model, okay? I'm sure they had moments of feeling that nothing was going to happen, that he was going to get away with it, right? That he was just going to continue to be in power, and they were able to remove him. So I'm not trying to say that that's what I think is happening, but it is a path that could happen. But right now, I am very disappointed in our institutions and I'm very disappointed in our justice system. And I actually texted a consultant from one of my shows and I just said, what happened? Like, please explain. And he doesn't have an answer. I mean, he's not in the agency anymore, but he's as confused as we are. So,
but yeah, I think it's interesting. What I've been reflecting on today is, how many of the messages I've gotten over the last 10 days seem suddenly more relevant today. For example, a message that a lot of us kept getting was that because Pluto is in Aquarius,
Mm-hmm.
we're in this revolutionary time frame. And I was being told that, our joust being finagled was connected to the joust, to all of these other jousts, and all of these other movements of people rising up was connected to ours. And I was also told that we have to express ourselves. We as the people need to say what we want. And so when today came, I think we were expecting the people in positions of power to do the right thing. And we're really shocked that they didn't. But reflecting now on those past messages, maybe this is calling for us to do more. And also people were saying that a lot of people were getting that lots of hidden things were going to be revealed at this time.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's what needs to happen now is we need to kind of turn over the rock and look at all of the stuff crawling under the rock of our
Yeah.
government and really find out how things operate and
Yeah.
who's doing what.
I think it's important to look at history. If any of you in the chat after we're done want to go watch, hopefully TikTok allowed it to stay up. I didn't get to check before I came into the chat, and I put it on the tube of you. But I did a whole sort of history lesson matching sort of history and astrology, right? Saying, okay, where are all the transits this year, and where were we in past years when these transits were happening, and what does it mean for us now? And what it means is there's massive transformation that has to happen, but it has to be led by the people. It's always had to be led by the people. In every one of these instances, it's been a uprising of the people. So I don't know exactly what that means, and we will have to figure it out as we move forward. But again, I'm thinking more of a spiritual revolution than I am like boots on the ground revolution.
Yeah.
And I think, right?
And let's maybe not keep using that R word.
Sorry.
I think I brought it up. But
I know. In fact, now I'm thinking they're probably going to take it down. What are we using?
Yeah, we love the TikTok shop, though. We love the TikTok shop.
We love the TikTok shop so much. This is a purse. Let me just show you. There's.
Yeah.
Mary, this is a new
and I got this book on the TikTok shop,
right?
And I got these wonderful herbal supplements on the TikTok shop, and I feel so much better now.
Oh my gosh, we do need.
Yeah, I do think it's a spiritual evolution with an R.
That's good. That's good.
At least for us, right? We all have a role to play. And so the dreaming women, we have a particular role to play, the dreamers, right? Our role that was given to us was to help people to tap into their intuition, develop their intuition, have the courage to share it, to begin to come together as dreamers and intuitive people to kind of pool our information so that we have more wisdom, and then to share that wisdom with the public, to help people have hope, to help people step into their power. I feel like that's our job. And then there are other people who have very different jobs. Their job is to like organize the marches and the parades and the boycotts, and right? Everybody has their role to play. And this is the time for everyone to figure out what is your role, right? What is it you want to do with your personal power to contribute to the vision that you have for the future? I think that's what we're being called upon to do right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just saw somebody say, hold the light, kind of like when they say hold the line, we're holding the light. I thought
we're holding the light. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that idea of
off, you guys.
Thank you. Thanks for coming, Mystic. Everyone, please follow Mystic Shadows and follow her pendulum work. Thanks for joining us.
This was a lot of fun. So hopefully I'll get the opportunity to join you guys again.
Oh, yeah. I was doing lives every day, so we'll see if I keep doing it. It's been a couple weeks now. I've been doing them today. I did 3, so it's kind of crazy. So I'll have you back up.
I know that we also have. I know Nina's here. Nina, the witchy healer, and who else is here? And Magical Mimi. I don't know. But yeah, I love that idea of like, and this is as a, I always said as a reporter, it's all about the questions that you ask, right? So ask, what can I do? Instead of like, what am I going to do? It's what can I do? What is my role? How do I want to define it? Like, this is our moment to realize that we have had the power all along. They haven't been taking it. We've been giving it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we give it away by being fearful and by dividing ourselves and hating each other. That's exactly what they want. They harvest our fear and they thrive off divisiveness.
I'm going to say something. Okay. I'm just going to give you, I don't know what this means. Okay. But I was sort of in this paralyzed fear state, right? When everything was going down this morning, and I had to kind of quiet myself and be like, okay, this is theater. I'm watching this. I need to like remove myself from it and just watch it like an observer, right? And there was a moment where I'm sure most people turned off, if they were watching, turned it off. But after the ceremony, he went to another room and he gave a second speech. And this one was not scripted. There was no teleprompter. It was off the cuff. Okay. And that's what I really wanted to pay attention to, because no one was controlling his words. They were his actual words. And there was something that was happening. I was like trying to tap into the energy. Now, normally there's a very dark energy about him, right? Like he's motivated by anger and revenge and these sort of dark forces. And now look, he was high and happy off of what was happening. But I was like tapping in and I was like, I don't feel the darkness right now. Like there's an energetic shift. There's something different happening. He was laughing. He was smiling. He was telling jokes. I am not saying that he's a different person. He is the same person. But there was this energetic difference. There was a shift. And I don't know what that means. And I don't know if it will continue. And even as he was speaking, now he said some things that he normally says. But there was this moment where he kind of stopped and he said, I really wish that we could create a better relationship with the Democrats, with the blue team. And I really think that there's a chance that we can figure out a way to do that. Now, look, that's all BS in my book. But even the fact that he was saying it out loud, and when he was saying it, I normally hit my BS meter for him. Everything is a lie, right? But for some reason, when he was saying it, I was like, wow, I feel like he's actually genuinely, because he was saying, it was personal. He said, I really wish that I had a better relationship with his predecessor. And I thought, wow, you were railing against him for 4 years, right? I don't know. There was just something that felt different to me. I don't know if anybody in the chat was watching it, but I've never seen this man smile. I've never seen this man laugh. And it wasn't, sometimes he does it in a fake way. Like he was genuinely making jokes that were kind of funny. I was like, what is happening? So again, I don't know what any of that means, except I felt something shift energetically.
Yeah, I felt that shift so much a few days ago that unfortunately, but we call it an energetic, right?
Right.
That I actually read this. It has shifted so much that I was like, is that, it's got to be him, but it's not the energy at all, which kind of makes sense if we think about where we are shifting right now. Again, this is theater. That role is done. That was like, so, 2 shows ago, right? And so I don't know. That's interesting that you say that, because it seems consistent with someone who might be playing the role of the new and improved.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Actually, what's interesting? You used the word excoriate with remarkable accuracy and proper context last night.
Yeah.
And so who is that person? That's
I don't
not
know.
the same person.
He was also articulate. He was finishing his sentences.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't going on crazy tangents. Again, I'm not trying to get into conspiracy land, but
I know it's hard not to.
It felt markedly different to me, right?
It's all different.
He's been slurring his words. He's been unable to complete thoughts. He's been jumping from one thought to the next. A couple of weeks ago, time is a flat circle, but he was obsessed with he's always obsessed with the water and the showers and the pressure. And none of that came out today.
I want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I want us to not spend too much time on him.
I know. I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I agree with you. I don't either because
Yeah.
it's
But it's
not
part of the
a lot of
mystery we're
energy.
trying to unravel. That's all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not only because we don't want to put our attention there as much, but also because of because of the platform. I'm concerned.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree. I
I,
agree.
I know that you use a lot more words in your videos than I do, but I don't get away with that, so I don't want to lose my account.
Oh,
You've done pretty
I hear
well.
you. No, we do have to be very careful, and
Yeah.
especially with this new version.
Yeah,
Since we
there's too many things you said that were too specific for that person. They were too
Okay.
identifiable, and
Oh,
yeah, there
They
were too
weren't
many
negative.
words.
They were positive, actually.
I know. I was actually
Right?
saying really positive things.
Yeah, yeah. Like with a note of great surprise. But yeah, I know
I
what you're saying.
was. I mean,
Yeah.
anyways, I will
I'm
stop.
with
You are
you.
correct.
I
I
don't
just
know.
thought it
It's
was.
not logical the way they flag stuff.
Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
logical.
I get it. By
It
the way,
makes me
Nina, the witchy healer, is saying we're supposed to be focusing on going inward and becoming who we need to be. This is what I've been saying today. This is our call, right? We can't figure all that out, and we can drive ourselves crazy trying to put the pieces together and understand the whys and wherefores and try to be attached to what outcome and how. And instead, it's like, why don't we just take this moment and focus on what we actually can control, which is so much more than we thought, I think.
I just invited Jody, but I don't think it worked. And then I did ask the mods. They were saying everyone kept saying Johniki is here, and so I said please invite her in. And no, here's Jody. So
Hey,
we'll
Judy.
start. We'll start with Jody.
Okay,
Um,
hold
Hi,
it.
Jody.
Hi. Hello, guys.
Hey.
How are ya?
okay, you want to turn your camera on?
I thought I did. Ooh. Oh,
There you
there
Oh,
I
I
go.
am.
turned it on. Haha.
There you go.
Hi. Hello. What's up?
Hey.
Hi, Jody. So
Hi.
tell us. We're just checking in today about how people are feeling and any information you're getting or what you think about what happened today. And remember to use code words.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I guess it was ramping up to this time frame, and honestly, I didn't feel that. I just kept, there was one video I made where I said the path is gonna look weird, and I didn't know exactly what I was talking about. And I today watching it, I was gonna say, you know what, I'm not gonna watch it. But then something inside me is like, no, I need to watch it. And I'm like, why am I getting dragged into this, right? So I just watched it, and I had certain feelings, like uh, I had certain things pop in, and I kind of on the fence. I was doubting myself. Now I'm wavering, and what is happening? And I saw a flash, and I kept telling my family, I'm like, I think I need to watch this because I kept seeing a vision of bunch of, let's say, soldier looking type people running, right? And I'm like, why am I seeing that? So I was just watching for it, and I'm like, I feel this energy, and I couldn't quite place it, and I watched it all happen, and obviously nothing happened so far, so I'm just um I'm not quite sure what to make of that, but that I sat with that image, and it kept popping in like at least 5 times, and I think if after 3 times I have to not ignore it. So that's what I saw. I just kept seeing a bunch of men running, and I obviously it didn't happen today, but I don't know what that means. I'm gonna continue, see where that leads, but I don't know what else. But I still feel hopeful. I still feel calm. That's all I know, and I just, like I said, surrendered to whatever will be. So that's where I'm at, surrendering. And I did point out in my video that surrendering, I had 3 instances of surrendering just this year alone, where as soon as I did that, that's when something changed and shifted. So I really feel that is the key, and everybody's mentioned it. I'm like, I think that is the message. Surrender, that the universe will allow things to happen as they should, and obviously we also have to participate, not just sit by and idly watch what's going to happen, so um, I don't know, I think we just need to know, what does that say, the what pathway, it's
Backwards.
backwards.
The Pathway of Surrender. Sorry, yeah, it's
Hmm.
that David Hawkins book that we've
Yes.
been hawking. I wish it were on the TikTok shop. It might be on the TikTok shop. But yes, the whole point that, yeah, you and I made very similar. Again, we've
Hmm.
been
Yes,
this
we've been
time.
on
We are
same wavelength. Yeah.
same wavelength. And so it's not like we're just like copying off each other. It's like we have been getting the same or complementary messages at the same time on the
Yeah.
same day. They're working together. I've been feeling like our guides are working in sync. And so I'm not giving that up yet. I'm not going to say, "Oh no,
Mm-mm.
I'm going to forget about all of these synchronicities and all of these beautiful."
Exactly. So many synchronicity. I can't ignore them. And this is, just from my life alone, all the synchronicities lead to something. They're not just for naught, and they're not just, minor details in life. Those mean something. And, we just have to be patient and surrender. And that's all I'm getting right now. That's the feeling. That's,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
You're
think you're
welcome.
all contributing different things that are really helpful. Like Kate Desarge was reminding us that, not only have we been looking at intuition, but we've also been looking at a lot of facts and logic
Yes.
um, and
Takes
I think
both.
you and Intuition Influencer are both reminding us about the importance of, surrender and about
Hmm.
not being too attached with a particular event on a particular day.
Yes.
Because I think a lot of us did get attached to thinking that this was the final day, this was the 11th hour. And now
Right.
it looks like it wasn't the 11th hour, which is very confusing. But I know that I thought it was because it was logical. It was
Yes,
like
exactly.
my guide said 11th hour. They didn't give me a date. I interpreted it to mean today because logically I couldn't see any other solution. And
Sure.
so I guess we're now being called upon to figure, kind of imagine that there's another pathway
Hmm.
to the final vision that we saw of the
Exactly.
Lotus POTUS, right? There's another pathway, and and I want to remind people that one of the things that I was told um, is that it was probably going to be a neutral third party, and I was also told one of these inter-realm agencies, like the NATO or the ICC or the G7 or the UN. And three of those organizations have made statements in the last week specifically about finagling of jousts.
Hmm.
And two of
Yep.
those organizations have visited the Capitol in the last week. So we again, as Kate points out, we have a lot of facts, right, that support our intuition, and yet here we are. Here we
Yeah.
are without yet the happy ending that we have envisioned. Um, and so we have to figure out how to work through this, how to hold on to hope, how to you know adapt ourselves to the moment, so that we can continue on with this work that we've been asked to do by spirit.
Hmm.
And so yeah, maybe Jody, do you want to speak a little bit about why are you doing this work, or what do you see as your role in this Dreaming Woman movement 4 a.m. club?
Yeah. I mean, after the contest, I had those dreams, and I was just, I thought it was kind of like my brain's way of detoxing everything I've seen. And I've just been paying too much attention, honestly. Like I said, all the podcasts, every interview, everything relating to our queen, I just wanted to see and just want to be a part of it, right? And so after it was over, I'm like, I swore off MSM and I'm just going to move on. And then these dreams, like it was constantly happening to a point where every morning I told my husband, I'm like, oh my gosh, another dream about politics. Like, I don't know why every morning. And I'm going to share something that's really weird and it does sound delusional. Every time I had these dreams, I'd wake up and there's a little voice inside me, like, as I'm waking up and trying to come to, it would say, Kamala KH is our prez, every morning. And I'm like, why am I saying this? I know she's not. I know she didn't win. So I just couldn't let go of that. And then I had the visions. They were in weird order. It wasn't like a succession of things, but they were visions. And I sat with it for 50 days. I did not. I just watched all of you guys on this app, and just I'm like, wow, I can relate to that. Oh wow, all these people are saying the same thing I am, and that's why I finally hopped on and talked about it. I was fighting it. I go, I'm not comfortable with the camera. I don't do this. But I had to. It kept coming up. Just do it, do it, do it. So I'm definitely being called, and it's such a very intense feeling. And to me, it's just I'm sure, like, to my husband, logical mind, what are you talking about? How are you, why? It's just, so I just felt this urge to share, and I think everybody that I've seen can relate to that. It's just random. I don't think so. Just being pulled and pushed. So that's how I got here. And I'm still trying
Yeah.
to figure it out, but I love the fact that we're all on the same wavelength. And that to me feels great because I'm not alone wondering why I'm having these dreams. Why I wasn't that invested, but I was still wanting, I knew what I wanted, but so I couldn't discern if this was like my wishful thinking, some weird delusion. But I also did a lot of work on myself prior to this, like all my traumas. I let go of that, and then all of this came flooding in. So when people say it's about your grief and trauma, I'm like, I definitely know it's not. I haven't cried one bit. I felt sad, for others and everybody who's going to be affected. However, I, I don't know. I can't explain, but. Mhm.
I'm wondering if maybe we could all share a little bit about the community in our comments, because people can say, "Oh, you guys up there, you're delusional, you're crazy, whatever you're."
Mhm. Mhm.
But what about all the people in our comments who were
Yeah.
also sharing dreams and intuitions? And Kate, do you have anything you want to share about the people in your comments?
Yeah, I was amazed. So last night I couldn't sleep and I posted, and I just have hundreds of comments of everyone awake,
Mhm.
of everyone saying, yeah, I'm awake too. I can't sleep.
Mhm.
All the 4 a.m. club was just wide awake last night.
Yep.
And there was something about that. We were all feeling the same energy. We were all sort of in the same collective state. And there was something very reassuring about that. There was something that felt very unified about that.
Mhm.
And all along, I want to just say thank you to the community, because the internet can be a very scary place. And
Mhm.
my comments are so loving, they are so supportive, they are so kind, like universally kind.
Mm-hmm.
And I have just been filled with so much joy and gratitude for everyone who has been using their voice, speaking in the comments, sharing their thoughts and feelings. And I just, yeah, it makes me want to continue. It really makes me feel like this matters, and
Mhm.
we have a purpose here, and we are providing hope, and we are providing this sort of necessary combination of intuition with facts and logic that I think
Yes.
people are really looking for.
Yes. Mhm.
And I'm just so thankful to all of you and all of the work that you do and all of your content. And we have, when you feel it back, when you feel the love back, you know that you're doing the right thing. And that's just what I keep getting.
Oh, I appreciate you. I love your content. I appreciate you so much. I
Thank
just want to say that.
you.
As do
Same.
I. As do I.
Yes.
Oh,
Amazing. Everybody go
Mhm.
follow Kate the Sarge if you aren't
Yes.
already.
Thanks, guys.
She she's a writer. She tells great stories.
Mhm. Yes.
Intuition influencer. You want to say anything about the
yeah, I want to
community in your
echo.
comments?
Yes, I want to echo what Kate said. And by the way, it was really interesting how the angel numbers all came up this morning when I woke up, because I actually had I actually got up in the dark and did one of these last night because I wanted to share something. And then I woke up in the morning and we were all kind of in that moment saying, oh, it's 2:22 or it's 3:33. I'm up, I got up and I was calm and clear. And somebody actually in these comments, I mean, I'm seeing so many echoed here, like in this live. And somebody had said, the more inner work I've been doing, the more my gifts have developed.
Mhm.
And it reminded me, this is a little off topic, but before I forget, and we got to get her in on one of the lives, Sabrina Fleetwood. I just discovered her today or last night, I think. Does anybody know who I'm talking about? And
No.
she spoke so beautifully about how in this moment, we are, those of us who are the light workers, our work, our abilities are accelerating. And so, yeah, that's a lot of the people who are following us and commenting. This is all happening, people. Like, this isn't just a figment of our imagination.
Mhm.
Let's stop with the gaslighting of ourselves and
Yes.
being gaslit,
Yep.
because that is, and Sabrina, I'd love for her to speak on it because I can't. I can only paraphrase paraphrase poorly, but she spoke of it and it was like all the pieces fell into place. I saw all of our roles here, right? So some people need a little bit of encouragement, reassurance. Some people need to see their own feelings and experiences echoed. And in my, on my page, I've had so much fun with the music downloads, and so many people are like, I heard that song today. It's been in my head constantly. So now we're learning to pay attention to the earworms, the voice in the ear ringing. Like, I'm learning from you too, because I'm relatively new to this process as well. Like many of you, dreaming women, I came into this just because I felt like I was being called to do it, not for any other reason than what can I provide? What kind of hope, help, support, and light can I provide? And I'm getting so much more of it back than I ever could have imagined, even today. Even in spite of all those other comments, I've been getting some really wonderful messages and it's not even the messages of support. That's lovely. Oh my gosh, I love that. But what I love to see is people going, oh, I ain't letting this get me down. I think we need to have a dance party. I think we need to do this. This is what we're going to do. This is the power that we're talking about. And it is, let's not ever underestimate it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So we just had one of the moderators turn off comments, and I don't know what happened. So maybe, is there a way for the moderator to tell me what happened? Because here we are talking about the amazing community in the comments, and then the comments disappear. So
that's the
I
universe.
was following the comments, and I didn't see any conflict.
I know, I didn't see anything. Yeah.
So I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, I didn't see. I've been following them constantly. Oh well, send 2 roses if you're okay. Blink twice.
Blink twice.
Right?
Well, we're getting roses. I think.
Yay. Oh, speaking of which, everybody's been asking if we can get this banner off the middle of the screen. This one here.
The congrats.
Yeah, I don't know what banner.
Well, the one that says "Congrats, Mama Moody."
I deleted one, but I can't see it now. You can still see it?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so we're just seeing it. I can't do anything with it. I'll just make it a crown on my head. There we go.
How come I can't see it?
I don't know. Yeah, I can see it.
Weird. Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I can't see it.
Thanks
but here,
for all
let
the
me
roses.
shrink
We're getting
you.
so many roses now because people are. It's Morse code roses, everybody. Doot, 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 doot.
Okay, well, everyone's there. At least other people are still here.
Yeah.
You still see it somewhere?
Yeah, the banner's in the middle. It's across your face, and yeah.
And in mine, yeah.
This is something
Did
weird
we
going on
shift? What is
because I
happening?
can't see the banner.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
I know, it's very weird. What is happening?
I can't see a banner.
Cut to the moderator's been taken over by I don't even want to joke about that stuff. We thought that app nap was weird. I don't know.
Can I give a little bit of a cyber tip right now since I'm here and people are listening?
Mm-hmm.
I would really recommend everyone downloading. I'm going to spell it SIGNAL.
Mm-hmm.
And for any of the conversations where you're not using code, I would put all of those conversations there.
Okay.
Wonderful. I love that.
Encrypted, and you can also, your messages can disappear, and they really actually do disappear. They don't get stored somewhere.
I love that.
Yeah.
I just got rid of the banner, by the way. If you click on it, like just touch it and hold it, and then there's some like clear display or something like that.
Oh, it's gone for me.
Yay.
Yay.
Oh, so clear.
See, I did that on my side and it disappeared for me, but I guess everyone could still see it.
I think we all have to do it individually.
Yes. But that's really good about the SIG NAL thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we do
have
need
that
to do that. Yeah. Especially people who are boots on the ground people.
Yes.
100%.
Really start protecting yourselves. Wear masks, not just because of the germs, but to protect.
Wow.
Yeah. So I know that there were some other people maybe in the comments who wanted to join, but I think I'm gonna end the live because this is actually my 3rd live today and I'm tired.
Oh my gosh.
What? Thank you for doing all of that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you everybody for coming. Yes. And as long as there's a need, I'll keep doing lives so that we can still have our community. And I think we're probably also going to be, this was Elisa's idea actually, moving our community elsewhere as well.
Yeah.
In terms of extending the community beyond this platform, beyond social media. and
Yeah.
maybe, meeting in real life or in
Oh,
other
that'd be cool.
ways, so
Hmm.
that we can just keep building up the energy of
Yes.
all of these powerful, intuitive women in the country. And
Hmm.
because together we cannot fail, when we come together. Oh, that
Agreed.
reminds me, I forgot. I did get one message today from my guides that I wanted to share. There's a lot of different gifts out there, right? And I work with a lot of different gifts. I mostly work, so I'm a medical intuitive, I'm a psychic medium. I do a lot of out of body travel, I channel. And one of the ways I did work a couple weeks ago is with remote viewing.
Mm,
And that was a
yes.
really informative session where I was able to go into the naked emperor's bedroom and see like the state of his health and who was there. I was able to go into the Lotus Queen, the room that she was in with somebody else, and I was able to go. I forget now, but Starboy. I was able to go and visit all of these people and get information, and so it's a really useful tool. It was developed. It's really just kind of a more kind of analytical, systemic way of working as an out of body traveler or astral traveler or clairvoyant. Our government developed it for the purpose of psychic spying. And
Yep.
so it's a very useful tool. And I was called upon today in my meditation to put out the call that we need remote viewers
Hmm.
who are in our community to start doing that work and sharing it with us. And if you're someone who's ever been attracted to that subject, or you've maybe
Hmm.
read a book on it, or you've just taken one
Yes.
class and then you kind of let it go, now is the time to step fully into that work. And let's start using that gift to help our community to get information. And so,
Yes.
and if you know anybody who's not in our community, go in and who knows about this, go and talk to them about this. Maybe people need to do classes. I don't know. But I think this is a gift that we need to seriously develop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And one last note, when I talked about releasing attachment to outcome, everybody, just as you're doing your manifestation or you're visualizing, just ask or better. Like tack that on to the end because it releases us from like the need to control every little aspect of
Hmm.
everything. Just like, hey, this is what we would love or better. Bring this to us or better. Because who knows?